podcast about bourbon and the ones who drink it. This is Bourbon Matters. Welcome to Bourbon Matters. I'm Jake.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Gold Eagle Jake.
And we are recording live for us at Whiskey Acres to do a barrel pick.
Mm-hmm. We always record live for us.
Yeah, but together.
Oh, gotcha.
Together on location.
It actually feels a little weird, but definitely cool to be in the same room recording an episode.
Have more elbow space when we're not.
It's weird being next to Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes, this is going to be like the ultimate plug episode.
Yes.
Because we're doing a barrel pick for you.
Mm-hmm.
And this started, we have flies here.
We're at a farm. So
we're on a farm. It happens. We started off after a podcast once. We were talking to Jake about having him do another barrel pick. And then I was talking about our cask finish series, and you had the idea of we should do a double oak, to which I asked Rob, and he said that we had a toasted oak finish, which is just a barrel that instead of being charred, it's toasted. All of our barrels are toasted first and then charred, so they put it at low heat, caramelize the inside of the barrel, looks like burnt toast, or normal toast, and then they char it after that. So this barrel we put it into was just toasted, no char. So from then, we took you a sample, and you liked it. It is from the barrel up at 132.6 proof, and I'll talk about the barrel in a minute. And you liked it, and then you had the idea of what if we tried it at different proof points to see what the water does to it.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, but I got the idea when I was drinking the 7-year, because you had brought us a sample of the 7-year at barrel proof, and then when I tried the 7-year, and normally I like higher proof, and for most of our barrel picks, we do them at barrel proof and give the customer the option to proof it down. But I thought the 7-year was so much better at 107 proof versus the barrel proof version that it gave me the idea, why don't we try this barrel at various proofs and find something that we really like, hopefully.
Yeah. So then I tasked our master distiller, Rob, to give us some different proof points. I have no idea what any of these proof points are. So we are doing this completely blind. We know one's full proof, and that's all I know. I don't know how low he went on proofs.
And five different
samples.
From the same barrel at different proofs, which is a very cool way to pick a barrel. The only other barrel pick I know that does something like this is Yellowstone.
And on top of that, even the master distiller doesn't know what one of the proofs are, so if we like it, we'll have to go proof it down or test the proof afterwards, because he had his beakers of all the proof down, and he just poured them into a bottle. And he's like, well, I can't put that back in the barrel because that'll lower the barrel proof. So here you go.
All right.
So information on the barrel. This is barrel number 179 for us, so it's an old barrel. Back then they filled it 125 proof. Now we're filling them around 120 proof. So it got up to 132.6. It did sit in the distillery for a while. And there's a boiler in there, and boilers get hot and evaporate some of the water, so that's how you get a little bit higher proof. The barrel was filled on November 30th, 2015, and then it was dumped December 2nd of 2020 into the toasted barrel. And it's still sitting in there. It sat in the original, technically it is a 5-year bourbon because it sat in the original barrel for 5 years, 3 days. And then it sat for 2 years, 7 months, 4 days in the toasted barrel.
Which is a really long finish.
Which is a really long time.
Long time for a double oak, yeah.
And when you add the two together, it actually aged, by the time we had these proofed out, at 7 years, 7 months, 7 days. From the day that Rob tested these out, which was kind of cool because we also had our 7-year release the other day too. So just a lot of stuff.
The stars are aligning.
Yes. So today's goal is figure out what proof point we like for the barrel pick.
Yeah.
And it'll be in the new cask finish series bottles, which are pretty cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's what I'm here for. we can go through, I guess. I didn't do the Gold Eagle reverse the letters. I noticed that after I printed them off, so A's up top.
Oh, Dan.
Rookie
Mistake.
It's
I
your
know.
first time making a tasting, Matt?
It is. Very, very first time. I made it in 3 minutes on Google Sheets.
Nice.
Because I don't have a laptop here, so I had to do it on iPad, which is dumb.
I appreciate the custom
Yeah, I even
mats.
put the Gold Eagle logo on there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we can dive in
All right, let's
So
dive
we're
in.
starting with
A.
Start with A.
We'll just work our way through A, B, C, D, and then question mark.
I think I'll work through the noses first.
Yeah. So they are definitely, you definitely get the barrel notes on this.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that stands out. Nor I know when you tried the sample of this, when you first nosed it, you said it didn't smell like the normal Whiskey Acres. The grain takes a little bit of backseat to the barrel in this, which makes sense because it's been sitting for a long time in a second barrel. Are you able to tell proof points just by the nose, or is it pretty?
I can tell a little bit by the color. I mean, I would guess that C is the barrel proof, and B and D are close, and then A's proof down a little bit more. That's just what I'm seeing on the color. And then on the nose, too, A seems like super toned back with a lot more mellow, chocolatey, just kind of toned back nose compared to the other three that I have nosed so far. But my guess would be C is the barrel proof. I don't know what you guys are seeing, but color.
I noticed the color that the C was the darkest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd agree. With A is probably the lowest. I think my favorite nose so far is B.
And texture on this, it's a very oily texture. It legs down the glass pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
It's nothing's smelling like you would think someone would ethanol smell from a 132 proof, because when you know one of these is 132.
Yeah, I'm getting like no ethanol, and that's kind of what I meant by my comment, that it really doesn't smell like Whiskey Acres, because it's just the barrel completely took over from being in that secondary oak barrel for 2 years, and then just being almost in an oak barrel for 8 years, just kind of toned all those notes back.
Yeah.
And none of it smells crafty. Sometimes I get like a crafty smell on the Whiskey Acres stuff, which is not a bad thing.
Go back and listen to the craft episode to
Go
understand
back
why.
and listen to that.
Quick plug.
But I'm not getting that at all on here, and that's kind of what I meant by this doesn't smell like any Whiskey Acres product that I've had before. Did we talk about the mash bill? Did we know the mash bill?
Mash bill is our normal mash bill, so 75% corn, 15% wheat, 10% malt.
So B smells like a straight up Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. A is really bright on the nose. I'm almost getting like some apple.
Yeah. Apple pear.
Yeah.
Pear, yeah.
Not as much on B, C, or D.
I don't know. You guys can keep smelling. I'm going to start tasting
Yeah, I'm
a
going to
little
start tasting too.
bit.
And for those of you who don't know, it's 10:15 in the morning right now. We're tasting whiskey, so
It's almost 10:30.
almost 10:30.
We're close
so
enough.
It's going to be a good day if you're sipping 5 pours of whiskey at 10:30 a.m.
You can't. We're not weak. Like, we're strong gentlemen. I mean, we have this, and we're going to get a nice little tour after that. So, I mean, we'll be sober.
It's a pretty tough gig, but we do it for you guys that are listening.
A is very caramely.
The finish is really good.
It doesn't taste like a super high proof. It doesn't taste. Just without tasting the other ones, knowing that they're all different proofs, somewhere between 80 and 132. Oh, yeah, there's one right there. Sorry, I didn't have pens. I didn't think about that.
It's your first time.
First time ever doing a hosting.
Slack.
I'm a distiller, not a sales rep. Let's just go through that.
Yeah, so I don't know. A is really good. There's really nothing wrong with it. I just think it kind of excites me for what's to come with these others, because I think I do really believe A is the lowest proof just by the color. It's much lighter. And I would probably guess, I don't know, 95, 100, somewhere in that range. Probably closer to 95.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. I really like this whiskey, though.
I'm just going to jot my guesses down so I can...
I mean,
I like it, too.
I don't think... This is one of the better products I've tasted that we've had. We had some really good stuff coming out, but I really like the overall flavor of this. Maybe I'm just weak and want lower proof.
Yeah, we can give you a little sample bottle to take home.
I know where the barrel's at. I can figure it out. Pretty good start, though.
Yeah, very good start. I'm moving on to B now.
I mean, the noses aren't vastly different, what you wouldn't expect. There are some small subtleties. But just going A to B.
Going A to B is really nice. B kind of matches the flavor, but it's much more enhanced.
Yeah. It doesn't... I'm, absolutely certain that it's higher proof, but it does not really drink like it, though.
No, it doesn't. I don't know, maybe just because A was my first sip of the day, but B tastes like it could be lower proof, even though I know there's no way it is.
I don't think so.
It's just extremely balanced and creamy, and you get a little bit of that pear and lighter fruit that you get on A, but not a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get more caramel and chocolate and sweeter flavors that kick in as well.
I get a little more of our grain out of B than I did A. I get just a hint of the grain in this one. Maybe it's just my nose and palate waking up a little bit after a 10:30 sip. So again, I'm not complaining. If this was my day every day, I'd be okay.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it should be. Right?
Yeah, right. You work at a distillery.
I'm a night distiller. I don't get here till the afternoon, so my mornings are pretty low key. Yeah,
and this is just as good as I remember the sample being.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's always a plus.
I don't know. I can't. I'm wondering. So, if we think C is the darkest one, C should be what we feel is the barrel proof. So we might have a big. We have no idea what the first two is. This could be a big step up in proof, and this might shock some things. I don't think B was a ton higher than A in terms of proof.
It tastes like 100. I'm gonna guess 107 because I feel like it's a little sneaky. Maybe 110, but we'll see.
Yeah. Did you try C?
I'm definitely going to leave a lot of B because I really, really like that, and I want to compare it at the end.
There's still some more left in the sample bottles.
Cool. But no, B was really nice. It's been 3 minutes now since my last sip, and I'm still tasting it.
Yeah. The finish is pretty good. Both first two have been pretty good so far for finish. It sticks around a little bit, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, the finishes on these are. Whew.
Yeah, because I can still feel B a little bit.
I
nicely.
just got Granny Smith apple on the finish of C.
On C?
Yeah. That was interesting.
These flies. This is going to be a fun video of just
constantly
scratching my head.
Video.
Man.
But yeah, if it looks like we're just scratching our heads, there's a couple flies.
There's 3 of them that are just being...
There's this whole empty building, and they just want to hang right around us.
It doesn't taste too much higher than B.
Yeah.
C?
Yeah.
I think this is a sneaky one too.
I think it is. So I like B much better off the initial sip. It doesn't taste much higher, but I do get a very slight kind of ethanol or rubbery is kind of a bad term, but maybe a little bit of a burnt tire kind of thing going on, and that's what I think I remembered when I tried it at barrel proof. There was just one little thing that I didn't like, and everything else I did like. I actually think the finish on B, even though it probably is lower proof, the finish on B is much, much longer. than C.
Yeah. Yeah, I the second sip on C did linger a little bit, or not linger, but did hit a little bit harder than the first sip. I think the palate's finally starting to get awake.
I just get like all the flavor all at once on C.
Mm-hmm.
Like it hits you right when you take the sip, and this is probably the 132 proof, even though I would guess like 115 if I didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just B is definitely a more pleasant experience.
Yeah.
Just to have that flavor a little more balanced and mellowed throughout the sip and to linger through the finish.
So I'm going to start to do my ranking method of how I do ranks here with my glasses, so I know what I'm doing.
As long as you don't mix them up.
I don't know. I'm not mix them up. I have spin. I spin them in different directions.
All right.
Because
I've never heard of that.
Because like we'll do blind tastings here, a bunch of different stuff, and Julie, who does our blind tastings, she will bring in 5 samples, and you got to figure out the theme that she put together for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them is either ours or there's something unique about one of them, and you got to try and figure out what something unique is on that one, and then you got to rank them 1 to 5, and you have your 5 glasses. So I've learned a stacking method and then a glass spinning method, so I can remember my thoughts.
3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
Yeah, kind of. But going to D.
Moving to D.
At least the flies aren't after the whiskey; they're just after my head.
D's got to be the lowest proof.
You think it's lower than A?
Yeah, it feels like it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's higher than A, but I think it's lower than the B and C.
This is probably, the finish is super quick on this one. It has a little bit of a watery feel to it right off the palate.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to A now, because A was on our first sip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just tried A again. I still kind of think D is the lowest proof.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think I probably get the most corn note I've tried so far out of D.
Same.
I don't know. I'm still going to say A, but I'm going to say they're very close. I'm going to say D is like... I'm thinking D is like 95 as well. And A might be like 92.
D, I get more corn. A, I get more caramel.
Yeah.
And a little more like fruitiness, like we were talking about with the pear on A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, D, you get a little more of the sweeter notes. Maybe a little vanilla, too. My favorite is still B by far.
Yeah, B's standing out so far.
Mm-hmm. Like, that was really, really good. I could have just said, let's just stop right at B, just because I liked it so much.
Yeah, D's not bad, but it doesn't have the kick of C. The B finish is still...
Mm-hmm.
The B had the best finish by far.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the finish on B is just so strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not strong, but it just stays.
Yeah, it just lingers.
And not like it just stays right on the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the finish on D isn't too bad either, but you kind of get like that burst up front with C, and then it just really goes away. But I think it lasts a little bit longer than the finish on C, and the palate's a little more pleasant because I don't get any of that like burnt tire that I was getting on C. All right.
Yeah, D's finish has gone quick. And maybe just because I've had 4 sips of whiskey already.
It's nowhere near what B was, but I think it's better than C.
Yeah. I think so far I'm at BACD.
B-A-C-D. All right.
Is where I'm at.
Time for the mystery.
Time for the mystery. So we have no idea what this is.
Nobody has an idea.
If we pick this one, then I got to go out and get a thermometer and a hydrometer and figure it out.
So this is a blend of all of these.
Somehow, maybe. Yeah. I'm not sure how much he had left in each beaker, but he just had stuff left and he poured it in a bottle. and said, here you go. If you like it, figure it out.
Distilling 101, folks.
Yeah.
Blending 101.
Blending 101. There's no science. Just
pour it in there, see how it tastes.
It was fun when I watched Rob do the last blend for our bourbon, for our straight bourbon. Because he had a couple, we do 4 to 6 barrel blends. And I think we were doing a 4-barrel blend, and he had 8 barrels. And he called each different barrel something different based off its flavor profile.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, all right, I think I'm going to want these 4 blended together. And if not those 4, then these 4. Mm-hmm. And he mixed those together, and he had his 2 ones that he thought were better, and he picked the better one out of the 2.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was kind of fun to see him just the way he did it.
Mm-hmm.
I just make the stuff. I don't do any of the...
Blending is an art, and 5-10 years ago, blending was looked at as kind of like a secondary form of making whiskey, and I think now like people are starting to appreciate how much time and effort for the record, you don't just dump a bunch of stuff together and create a blend. Like there's a lot of art that goes into it, and you really kind of have to pick out certain flavors in different barrels and just know that they're gonna go well together.
Go listen to our episode on blending.
Yeah, go listen
for
to
more.
This is a plug episode.
It says to be a plug. It's
Bourbon
Whiskey
Matters,
Acres.
Whiskey Acres, and Gold Eagle. I don't think we've said Gold Eagle enough, though, Dan.
Gold Eagle, Gold Eagle, Gold Eagle.
There we go.
Is that the Beetlejuice thing? D has a unique flavor to it. Or E, the mystery, the question mark.
Yeah. It's not the worst thing in here, but there's just nothing really that stands out about it.
Yeah.
It's just it's a good bourbon.
It's
not a barrel pick, but it's a good bourbon.
It doesn't feel as intentional as the other ones do.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, so we initially came out, and my idea at first was, why don't we do like 100, 105, 110, 115, 120, and just tasted all these different proofs. And then Dan, you said Rob was kind of like more intentional with the proof points that he chose, even though he didn't tell us what they were.
Because part of the reason we had the mystery bottle is he screwed up and he overshot the water on one of them.
Oh, really? Okay.
So then he had one he couldn't use, and that's kind of why. Happy accidents, we call them.
Mm-hmm. But so like some of these could be 1 or 2 proof points off. We could have like a very wide range of proofs here, which I think we do.
Yeah.
Even though like it doesn't really like if we going from like 90 to 130. If I didn't know that this was 130, I would say there's no chance that we're 40 proof points off with these set of samples here. They kind of taste a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Than that.
The crazy thing is these all taste completely different, and they were all pulled from the same barrel at the same time. The difference is how much
water.
Yeah, purified water was added to it.
Mm-hmm. And then you want to talk about Whiskey Acres water?
Yeah, so when you go to Kentucky, every single distillery talks about how unique their water is, and the reason that they make the greatest whiskey in the world is because they're on a limestone aquifer. Mm-hmm. DeKalb is also uniquely on a limestone water aquifer. And when Dave Pickerel, who was the former master distiller at Maker's Mark, Whistle Pig, Blacken are the big ones,
did a lot of
consulting
with a ton of distilleries. Very famous for consulting and helping distilleries get on the right
Probably one of the more famous distillers back, probably about 10, 15 years ago, is probably one of the most sought after masters to help startups.
Absolutely.
He had our water tested because originally their plan was they were just going to reverse osmosis water it and just make a good water. Dave said, well, if you're on a farm well, let's test it, and it came back an identical match to the one distilleries in Bardstown. So even though people think that when they think of limestone aquifers, they think of ancient underground rivers that run under. That's not the way it is.
And you think of Kentucky.
Yeah.
When you hear limestone, you think of Kentucky because that's all they preach and talk about is how good their water is, which is why they have such good bourbon. But
it's not an ancient underground river. They're just pockets here and there. The joke that we have is that there is an ancient underground river that runs from here down to Bardstown. Mm-hmm. So we get it before they do. So we get the best water before Bardstown is our kind of internal joke. Even though that's not how science or geology works.
No.
It's a good tour aspect, Well, I mean, we can sit here and keep talking through these, But I think we're all in agreement, unless you're.
I'm running back through really quick, the opposite direction.
All right, sorry.
I did the mystery. I did D, C, and then now I'm going to B. But yeah, I mean, B, this is kind of the way I hope this would go. B just dominates everything else, and I think this is. One more sip there.
How bad is this going to be if we all talk about we're high proof people and this is the lowest proof on here?
I don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's actually going to be good because the whole reason why we decided to do this was because the 7-year at barrel proof did not taste as good as the 7-year at 107 proof. And, like most of the time we do barrel proof because we like the consumer to have the option to proof it down, but there's also people looking for proof down stuff in the 100, range for picks.
Yeah.
And it's very unique to get something that's very flavorful, very full. Listen to our 100 proof or lower episode that we did last week.
Or the next week, depends on how they come out.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Sometime there'll be an episode.
Find the under 100 proof episode. We talk about how it's very rare and unique to find a full-bodied whiskey at a lower proof that still has a long finish and great flavor. So I think this is super cool to pick one barrel just based off of the proof points.
So Buffalo Trace doesn't do barrel proof when you do your barrel picks, right? Those are all
no. But when you are doing a barrel pick at Buffalo Trace, you can taste it straight from the barrel, and then you're just like, why aren't you offering this at barrel proof?
Yeah,
because it is ridiculously good. But
they probably presume that everyone wants yield over.
Yeah.
No, I think they're just stuck in their old school ways. Like Buffalo Trace is just always a 90 proof 8-year bourbon, and that's not really going to change. Otherwise, they'd want it in like a stag bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though I don't know what.
Stop looking. Jesus, you're like a child.
Dan pulled out the answer key and he's holding it right a foot next to me. How am I not supposed to look? And it's like written in like 80 font.
I didn't write it. I didn't know what Rob wrote it on. He wrote a big black marker.
We didn't even officially vote yet.
Well,
we didn't, but
we're all in agreement on B.
Jumped the gun, but I was excited.
Yeah.
So
let's hear it.
A was the lowest proof.
So
at 92.1.
Let me just say that it's on record on this podcast. I said 92 for A after I tried B.
Can you cut that part out? Just do a dub over his. This is 103 proof. A was at 92.1 proof. B was at 109 proof, so 2 proof points off of the 7-year at 107 that you really liked.
B, I guessed 107 proof.
So pretty close there.
Pretty close.
C was the barrel proof. I thought it was 132.6. He had a 132.7.
Cool.
D was 96.8.
And I guess 95.
You just wanting to stroke your ego?
Yeah, I do. I mean, within 2 proof points of all of these.
Yeah.
That's called a good blind taster.
No, you had, by far and away, you're the most refined palate out of all of us. You also, by far and away, taste most of these. But no, it's that's impressive.
But
D,
I just think that's cool.
Well, now I think we should guess what the question mark is to then make Dan go proof out.
D, 96.8. Yeah, D, I have no idea.
Go 5 for 5.
Yeah. Write down your guess on that, and then I'll go proof it out. I'd have to use a different graduated cylinder because we don't have enough left to use the normal one to get the hydrometer float. But
I would guess like 93 or 94.
All right.
I will say that A being the lowest is probably my second favorite.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had B, A, question mark, D, C.
B, A, question mark, D, C. Okay.
Yep.
I had B, A, C, D, question mark? Or, yeah, I don't know. C, D, and question mark for me could have been, like, interchangeable. But B was by far dominant.
Yeah. I think the moral of this story is that water changes things.
Drastically.
So,
and sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse.
Right.
And barrel proof doesn't necessarily always mean better.
Yeah.
And it was very cool how, like, these tasted like they were all from different barrels.
Yeah.
Even though it was just one barrel with the water.
Yeah, I've never done a blind like this or a tasting like this where it's just proof down at different points. This is the first time I've done anything like this, and it's crazy to see how much proof makes a difference on things.
Yeah.
And how much a little bit of water can change things. Plus, it's a lower proof, so you get more bottles to sell.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I'm ecstatic for this. I can't wait for this to arrive at the store. This is really good.
Yeah. I think the finish on B is like the perfect finish for what you're looking for. It just sits there and lets you know you had it, because it sits there for a couple minutes when you're done. It does, but it doesn't. It's not going to be the people that don't like Bernie whiskey or things like that. It doesn't do any of that. It just stays with a little bit of heat.
Yeah, it drinks very mellow. It lets you know that there's a little bit there. It smells and tastes like a Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah,
this kind of reminds me of Jim Beam. I get a little of that like nuttiness.
Yeah, it's
like
definitely
dusty
got
nuttiness.
Those kind of like big Kentucky distillery kind of notes going on.
Absolutely.
See what we can do after this is a comparison, considering this is 2 points off the 7-year.
Oh yeah, do it side by side.
And the 7-year is, I mean, technically it's a 5-year bourbon because it was in the original cask for 5 years. But it's just as old in terms of distillation date and barreling date as the 7-year. So that's interesting. We should do a quick little side by that. We'll do that off stream.
We will.
Or we're not streaming.
No.
So I said
we're not live streaming.
We're not live streaming. Make comments. Guess your things. Jake will respond back and tell you if you're right or not. But sweet. So that was fun. Good idea.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
But yeah, we will. I don't do sales. I just make the shit. So I'll have Nick finish up with you, but it'll be 109 proof. And we'll get it to you guys sometime in the near future. You guys can work out all the logistics there.
Yeah, we will do that. Yeah, I mean, definitely make sure. Are we plugging now? Are we wrapping?
Do you want to plug? You want to wrap?
More to
we can plug.
Discuss or?
I don't know. Is there anything else you want to cover, Dan?
This is your chance, Dan.
No.
Whiskey Acres, we're here.
We've done like 2 Whiskey Acre episodes in a month, so
we're here. I
know. It's fun, Jake. We're gonna do a nice little. You're finally gonna be happy. I'm gonna let you try some stuff out of barrels. There's gonna be no drill.
Yeah, tell us what we're about to do.
I can't. Some of that stuff people haven't heard about yet.
All right, fair enough.
Some of this will not have pictures to it. But yeah, no, we're gonna go try a few things outside. We have you guys aren't gonna hear this and be able to come down because it's not the same day. But on the weekends we have bands, we have barbecue, we have food trucks that come down. So it's always a good time on the weekends. There's tours. If you're here on a Friday night, you can come bother me at my job. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
This is your first time here, so you just saw the visitor
That's
center.
what I was going to say. This is my first time here. We haven't done like the full tour yet, but I'm very impressed so far on everything that I've seen. It's a very nice space, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but absolutely worth the drive. I'll be back soon when they have live music and food truck. This is very cool space, and can't believe it took me this long to get out to Whiskey Acres. But if you're within 2 hours, 3 hours, I would say it's worth it to make the drive out.
Yeah. Spend a few hours here, drink some good cocktails.
Yeah.
Cocktails are excellent.
Big cocktail
by the way.
list. I was I'm kind of bummed that the bar's not open right now. But then again, it is 11.
It's not Wisconsin. This is not Wisconsin. We're still in Illinois. I know it feels like Wisconsin because we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
But no, it's Illinois, so we're still not open yet. You'll be able to try some later. They'll be here when we're done. Plus, Faye's Barbecue will be here, which is pretty damn good.
Nice.
That's my plug for Whiskey Acres.
Yeah, goldeaglewine.com. Follow us on Instagram at Gold Eagle Wine, Facebook at Gold Eagle Spirits, and we're also on Threads now. If you are on the Threads game,
The hell is Threads?
It's a new social media platform that Instagram
it's Zuckerberg's
just
Twitter.
Yeah, it's like a Twitter version for
You guys on
Facebook
Truth?
and Instagram. No,
Not
not
on
on
Truth?
Truth.
All right.
2 social medias was already enough, but kind of had to jump on Threads because it's a new thing, and who knows where it's going to go. But it's kind of a fun way to just do like little stupid tweets or threads or whatever you're going to call it.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, just to kind of connect a little, less pictures and just more of opening discussions and whatnot. But yeah, check us out because this barrel will definitely be coming to the store, and we will post information as soon as we get it. And you'll get a chance to purchase it if you'd like, and I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah, this is the previous barrel pick took down Booker's. I know we've talked about that once or twice on the podcast.
I haven't mentioned that.
This would be a fun. This will be easier to put in blinds at the 109 proof, and I think this is going to do really well.
This is going to mess with people in blinds because it truly, I think, tastes and smells like a Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to throw people off. Nobody's going to guess Whiskey Acres. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about this too much. Just save it for the blind tasting. But
like it's pretty remarkable how all of these drink well below their proof.
Yeah.
Too. So this is definitely like a sleeper.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's the same way the watersheds. You guys do the high proofs, the watersheds, and they never taste their proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. 109 tastes more like the 90 to 100 proof. But Jake, can you plug our shit quick?
Yeah, sure. You can find us at Instagram at Bourbon Matters. You can find us on Facebook. We have not joined Threads yet. I don't want to manage that, so we'll see. You can watch us on YouTube, or you can watch us on Spotify, and you can listen to us on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Perfect. I was hoping there'd be a fly that would land right on your hat so I could just smack you in the head for the end of the podcast, but not.
I've been really holding myself back from just whipping you in the face and saying there was a fly.
We all got a little bit left, and well, you don't have much left
I got
to
a
be.
little bit left to beat.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
You're not going to cheers each other? That's kind of dumb.
What?
You cheers me, but not Jake.
Oh, sorry.
Come on, Jesus.
The real cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.